We are recording.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, Mickey Atkins.
Hello, Hannah Lehman. How are you?
How are you? I'm good.
You know, I'm doing okay.
Is this 15? This is episode 15,
Yes.
right?
Yes. We made
Okay.
it.
We did it. We're here. Oh, yeah. You guys are listening to Thanks We Hate It.
Thanks for coming to episode 15.
We did a good job on that intro. Yeah.
That was so good. We're professionals.
Yeah. Yes. Quick reminder for people that maybe missed this in the first couple episodes. There's always timestamps in these episodes. I always add timestamps. Whether you're listening to on, it should be in the description on anywhere you're listening to, as well as YouTube. So if you don't like the chitty chat, then
You can skip
I don't
it.
know why you wouldn't, because we're delightful, but you could skip it if you want.
You know, I think we're pretty delightful too. Ooh,
You know
I
what?
do have an update actually. Do you have any do you want to go first with your little chit chat or
I would like to make a very brief announcement that
Ooh,
will
yes.
mean nothing to anyone except for me, but still.
Okay.
I just wanted to use my platform to give a big happy birthday to my dad, who is turning 60 in a few days.
Oh, what a
And
special birthday.
it's just a very big special birthday, yes. And do they listen to this podcast? No. Am I going to say it anyway?
Yes.
Yes.
Good for
so
you,
happy birthday,
honestly.
Dad. I love you.
Happy birthday, Hannah's dad.
Yay. I'm so I know it's hard getting old, but I try to remind people that, like, hey, a lot of people don't make it to 60. So
Yes.
getting
Aging
old
is
is
a
a gift.
privilege.
Exactly. So what's up, Mickey?
I just have an update about the Olivia situation. I said in the last episode or the episode
You
before.
did. Yes.
Yes, that we were going to buy
How
a
was
bunch
Olivia?
of stuff. A lot of people recommended a herding ball. I did look into the little stick thing. I couldn't remember what it was called last time. It's called a flirt stick. I saw some reviews about how it's potentially dangerous if your dog is a jumper because they can get their legs tangled in it. And so we decided not to go that route because Olivia is very much a jumper. But we did get a herding ball and it didn't go well.
Oh no.
Savannah really likes it, sort of.
Remind
Savannah
us
really
what a
liked it for
herding
like
ball
48
is.
hours. So a herding ball is essentially like, it's like slightly larger than a basketball. It's like a big, large plastic ball. It's made of hard plastic, so the dogs can't get their teeth in it. It's not like, it has no give at all.
Okay.
And it just is this big ball. They sell bigger ones that are like for horses and stuff. And we did look into getting one of those, but they're like quite large. It's like the size of an exercise ball. And like, don't get me wrong, our backyard's not like tiny or anything, but it's, I don't know.
But where are you
going to
store that?
Yeah. Yes, also that. And they're expensive. They're like $60. And so I was like, let's get the little one. Let's see if Olivia likes it first. And she doesn't. She doesn't give a fuck. Tried playing with it inside and she just looked at me. We tried playing with it outside and she just is like laser focused on the other ball that's outside. I like tried to bribe her with food. I tried to put the other ball away. I tried to play with her inside with food. Wasn't having it. She just, inside she goes to the back door because she wants to play with the ball outside. Outside she goes to the ball and like has the ball in her mouth. Or if I put the ball away, then she just and stares at it like a weirdo.
Gosh.
So
the point of a herding ball, it doesn't have like treats in it or anything, right? It's just the way that it moves and rolls. You're supposed to it's supposed to help the instinct of herding.
Yes.
For dogs that have that instinct. Because
Yeah.
you've said in the past that Olivia is primarily border collie, right?
yes. Yeah. And so the hope was that it would kind of scratch a similar itch that Fetch does for her, which is like getting to chase after something, right?
Right.
And also that's self-sufficient and is slightly less impact heavy for her little feet because her paws are just very sensitive. She gets like little cuts and like scrapes on them and stuff, and it's just really not good for her feet. And she also grinds her nails down to stubs because she's like skidding trying to catch the ball. So the hope was that with the herding ball, especially, we could have it inside, like on the carpet or even on the hardwood, which is not going to like hurt her feet, you know, but she will not give it the time of day. We've had it for a week. And the only time that she's looked at it is when I've put it directly in her face, to which she just kind of like looks around it and then looks at me like, what is this? Why are you doing this to me? So.
Okay.
Yeah.
With so much love, Olivia's a little bit of a brat.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 100%. Yeah. She's like big
that's-
youngest child syndrome. And I say that as the youngest person in my family. Like she's the baby of the family for sure.
That's I mean, because I call Winnie a brat all the time as well, because she is like the definition of. Did I probably make her that way a little bit? Yes, probably.
Exactly, yeah.
But she's like that with like chew. Like I try to give her all these varieties of. She used to love bully sticks as a puppy.
Yeah.
And I like to buy like the different fancy chews at like Mud Bay and places like that, like all these varieties of stuff. And like the majority of the time she's so excited to get it because it's like evening time. We've went on a walk, but you know, we're just chilling for the evening, and she has nothing, and she gets bored all of a sudden, and she has a burst of energy. So she comes up to me and she's like, do something. I want something, you know, like do something with me. Right. And so I'm like, here, how about a chew that you could chew on? Like, these are fancy, nice, safe, delicious chews. Yeah. And the majority of the time, she'll just walk around with it in her mouth, having a frantic existential crisis about where to bury it. And then she'll bury it. Sometimes she'll cry as she's walking around with it. Like, it's in her mouth, and she'll go, like, upset that she doesn't know where to put it.
Oh.
And then she'll bury it like in the couch cushions or like in the corner by the TV. I have frequently gone to vacuum my couch, and there's bully stick pieces in like under the cushions because.
Oh my God.
And that's how I feel about it too. Unless there's another dog there that wants the chew toy. If we're at my parents' house, she will gladly. The other day we gave her one, and she did that berry thing because he was outside with my dad. My mom and I were trying to watch a movie.
Yeah.
And he was out. The big dog, the golden retriever, was outside with my dad, and she was inside. She frantically was just looking for where to bury it, crying, looking at us like, what the hell? Why did you give this to me? The second he came in, she chewed on it like the rest of the night.
Yeah. And that's partially what worries me about Olivia is that dogs who are like fixated on fetch as much as she is can develop resource guarding like behavior problems and reactivity, which is so dangerous and like not good. And we've done some training with her. And so she's not like resource guarding right now, but I'm nervous that she might start to. So I really want to like move her away from being so obsessed with the fetch, but I just can't. Like nothing sticks. I don't know what to do. So
she's hyper focused.
Yes. This is what I'm saying. When I tell people like, oh my God, my dog is like clinically addicted to playing fetch. They're like, that's so sweet. And I'm like, no, I don't think
I believe you.
Like it's a problem. She has an affliction and I need to deal with it somehow.
I've had friends with border collies too, and they say the exact same thing that you do.
It's
that
a problem.
Literally all day, they just want you to throw the ball. That is the only thing that matters to them in their life. Like, honestly,
that's why we have a
food,
very firm rule. Yes, she doesn't care about food. But that's why we have a very firm rule that the ball is not allowed to come inside the house, because if it did, she just constantly places it on your lap, puts it on your lap, puts it on your lap. If you're laying down, she puts it on your face. She's so demanding, dude. Like, it's terrible. I can't even spend time in my own backyard without, like, Aaron and I will be doing yard work. Like, when we redid the yard, we were, like, with a pickaxe, like, digging up the irrigation lines. And she'll come over and just drop it at Aaron's feet. And I'm like, this is so dangerous. Like, get out of here. What are you fucking doing? Like, go away. And so, no, she's not allowed to have the ball inside the house for sure. But, like, most of the other times, honestly.
That's a good boundary.
She gets played with fetch like one time a day. And the rest of the day it's lights out. We need to do something else. Do puzzles and licky mats that she hates me for. So that's my update. My dog's still a brat, and we're going back to the drawing board. But Savannah really liked it. Do you want to see a cute video of Savannah playing with it?
I sure do.
She's so cute. She did really enjoy it for like 20 minutes, and then she kind of gave up. But here, I'll turn the sound off so it's not so loud. But
you have to send me the video so I can put it in the we could see it.
That's Olivia playing fetch in the background. Look at how cute Vanny is. She's so happy.
She is.
That's what you're supposed to do with a hurting ball.
She's like, I'll play with.
Okay.
Olivia does not look like a border collie at all either.
I know.
It's so funny.
That's why her DNA results threw me for a loop so much.
We're like, what?
I was like,
explained so much, except added so many more questions at the same time. So
that's my update.
My goodness. Well, I watched Chucky for the first time.
I saw that on your Instagram story. How was it?
Oh yeah, so stupid. It was so bad. It's a cult classic though, and I do try to like watch because I do love horror. So I try to watch like all the classic horror movies, like, you know, like the original Halloween, the original like Omen, The Exorcist, like all those. And that one is one I hadn't seen before. And I mean, it was creepy, but it was like just so ridiculous. I knew it was going to be bad. Like, I knew it was going to be ridiculous, but it wasn't exactly what I thought it was going to be either. So
I have never seen it either, but I've heard it's like very overdone. It's just like over the top, you know?
Yeah. I mean, like, there's a couple scenes that were creepy. For me, though, I like when they don't reveal the monster in horror movies. Like, the unknown, the mystery is what creeps me out the most.
Yeah, I get that.
And if you don't know the story behind Chucky, it's a serial killer that does a like satanic ritual to put himself into the doll before he dies. So the doll is just the serial killer.
Yeah.
And because of that, like, it doesn't actually creep me out that much, because the doll is not like a doll come to life. It was a doll that was cursed by a evil person. Like, for some reason that just like throws, and I'm just like, it was hilarious. It was decent in that regard. But it was fun. And then I went to the beach.
Yeah, how was the beach,
with
Hannah?
the friends. The beach was so much fun. We all had a blast. All my friends, I was a little nervous because I was the one that recruited all my friends to come to the beach because, well, they wanted to go, but like they had never been there before. This is Cannon Beach, by the way.
Okay.
And on the Oregon coast. And it's just such a nice beach. And we had fires, like beach fires, both nights. Smoked some of the devil's lettuce, which was fun because I hadn't done that in a long time. Yeah. And that was very much fun for me.
Good.
And it was a good experience. I did like it because I drank a lot less.
That's my favorite thing about weed is that I feel like I drink very little when I'm smoking because I don't need to, and then I don't feel hungover in the morning, which is the best.
Yes. And it was just a good vibe for that too. Yeah. So
love that.
There is a cougar. Did I tell you about the cougar there though?
No.
So they had, a couple weeks before we left, there was a cougar sighting on the rock. So there's this famous rock on this beach called Haystack Rock. I just hit the microphone. Sorry to anybody wearing earplugs or headphones. And so they were watching it to make sure that it left. And so there was one, it doesn't usually come down to the beach though, but the elk have been out. So one night we were sitting by the fire and Winnie saw something in the bushes, and she would not, like, usually if she sees something move, she'll stare at it for a few minutes, but then she'll like calm down and let it go. This one, she was sitting there by the fire with me for hours, just staring at the spot. She could not be consoled. She would not go away. She would not, like, we tried to go like up to it a little bit to smell what it was. She was barking at it. She was shaking. I finally had to go put her in the car. It was dark and cool out, and she was a lot happier once I did that. But then the next day, people said that they saw the cougars again, like in town. So I am very much convinced that Winnie saw one of the cougars, the movement of the cougars back there, and was trying to like tell me, like,
that's terrifying.
Listen, there is a lion on the beach.
High key, that is my least favorite thing about camping. I remember going on like a little like wilderness hike or something with one of the like camp ranger, you know, the like Forest Service people, and they were talking about how common it is for cougars and mountain lions and whatever to just like observe people. That like they are so stealthy. They'll just sit there and watch. That like they can sit there and watch you for like a pretty long amount of time, and you would never know. Which is terrifying. Like, that's not for me. I have
heard that about cougars too, is that it's actually, if you see a cougar, you're fine. It's if you don't see it, that's a bad sign, because that means it's hunting you. This one was pretty, we're really hoping they don't have to put it down, because has been pretty shy. Like, it's been pretty avoidant of people. We never saw it. It never came out because and the one that was on the rock, they had to close the beach for the day, and they waited until nighttime, and that cougar would not leave while there was people there. So I think the cougar was pretty scared of the people. It was just like, oh shit, how did I get in the water? But there's
how do I get out of
this
here?
photographer captured pictures of this cougar in the waves though. It's incredible. It was so freaking cool. So yeah, but I'm cougars, I think they're beautiful, but they scare the ever loving shit out of me because those are the ones that are in my area. I mean, they're in most areas in North America, I think, but like that I don't.
Yeah, that's not
I don't like that at all. So really cool, but also what the fuck? Like,
scary.
Not what you'd expect on the beach.
No, yeah, exactly.
Anywho,
well, I'm glad you survived. Jesus.
I know, we're fine. It was fun. Yeah,
that's good.
It was a real good time. I think everybody had fun, and yeah, here we are. Should we get started?
Yes, we have a lot to talk about today.
Do you want to do the more like controversial one first?
Yeah, if you want to.
Because you never told me what you're talking about today, and I'm very excited because I'm like so curious about it. You said it is a cool niche internet niche thing, right?
Yeah, it's like niche internet drama, which is my favorite. So
okay, cool. My favorite too. Okay, well let's get this one out of the way because we let's chat about this first, just because I don't know. Are you fine with that?
Yeah.
Let's save the fun for the end.
Let's do it.
So today we are going to talk about the Lizzo accusations.
Situation. Yep.
A situation. Probably more is going to happen by the time this episode comes out, but I'm kind of interested in this particular topic. So I'm going to summarize everything. Are you pretty familiar with the whole, have you been following it? Okay, cool. I'm just going to summarize it for people so they relatively know what we're talking about. I am sure most of you know what we're talking about. Most of you are aware of the Lizzo accusations. But so basically, Lizzo, the very famous rapper and singer too, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
she's singer, rapper. Yeah. She has some really amazing hits. Very radio. She's always on the radio. Yeah, everybody knows, and she's very well known for being a fat activist, as well as a black woman. Like she's been very well known for like her takes on feminism, body positivity,
radical self-acceptance kind of stuff.
And I very much have enjoyed her music since then. I'm not like a stan or anything, but I definitely like enjoy her music when it comes on the radio and stuff. Agreed. So 3 of her previous backup dancers have recently come out with accusations. They filed a lawsuit against Lizzo basically saying it reminds me very much of the Ellen DeGeneres situation. Like it sounds very much like all of her employees suddenly coming forward and being like, yeah, this is such a toxic work environment and we've been like dealing with this forever. And it's like that, very much that Ellen DeGeneres of like, everybody thought Ellen DeGeneres, like she donates so much money, blah, 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 blah. So this was quite shocking, I would say, for a lot of people.
100%.
And the accusations are, I guess trigger warning for like sexual assault / coercion and just other just like abuse of power kind of things. I think most people probably know the trigger warnings in this, but just
and like
FYI,
fat phobia and body stuff too.
Fat phobia, we're going to be talking about probably some racism in this conversation as well. So they have accused her of some sexual harassment and toxic work environments. They've accused Lizzo of body shaming, of just generally not being great, fearing for their jobs. Specifically, she took these dancers for a night out to a nude club that had dancers in it, but it's a club known for having more interactive. Most strip clubs you go to, you can't interact or touch the dancers for obvious safety reasons. Yes, but this one is more interactive, and the accusers / victims are accusing Lizzo of like pressuring them to catch dildos that have come out of the dancers' genitalia, eat bananas that are coming out of that have been used as a performance in said genitalia, pressured them to touch the breasts of a dancer, and then one of the security guards it was claimed that she coerced him to get on stage where his pants were then pulled down. And the general feeling from the dancers was that they felt like they had to go along with this, even though they were uncomfortable.
Yeah.
They felt their job was at stake if they didn't, and that it wasn't overtly said but implied that Lizzo liked people that were game, that were more that were ready to do that kind of stuff.
Like very much the abuse of power kind of allegations that like while no one might have like outright or explicitly directed or commanded you to do these things, the writing on the wall was that if you don't do these things, you don't participate, you don't pretend to be unbothered by somebody pressuring you, you know, ignoring your refusal, like so kind of violating your consent to participate in these things, not kind of actually violating your consent to participate in these things, that like there could be negative consequences for you at work, which obviously is like a problem. So right, which I think I don't want to and I think that's, I'm afraid of people minimizing that because that's very much a thing. Like, for example, you know, one of the dancers, also the one that ended up claiming she soiled herself because she felt pressured to stay during a 12-hour rehearsal and didn't feel like she could leave. And I mean, I've heard of it. It very much reminded me of the football player that they used to pressure the football players to keep practicing because the kind of like that manly thing of like getting a drink of water is seen as weak. And so somebody, I mean, football players and other athletes have died because they didn't advocate for themselves and stop and say, hey, I need to go get a drink of water. I'm getting heat stroke or whatever. Yeah. And it feels very much like that, where it's not like anybody was saying don't get a drink of water, but they felt like others weren't. And so therefore they were weak if they did. So like it felt very much like that vibe of like, you have to go through this rehearsal. Another one said that she was having health issues and Lizzo did offer for her to go on leave, but she again said that she didn't feel like she could because others weren't. So a lot of that kind of stuff, just a lot of like you said, abuse of power and stuff like that. And then Lizzo has responded via Instagram and said that she basically denies all accusations. We could read her response, but I don't think I think we know. It's quite lengthy, actually.
It's very lengthy. She basically in essence, she denies all the accusations. Obviously had a lawyer help her. Right. Which we'll talk about the lawyer too.
I know.
And the thing that stood out, the thing that I really did not like about her response, it was her like emphasis on how she's so sexually open and like kind of used that. It kind of, again, implying, not directly saying, but kind of implying that because she's so sexually free and open, that's why she behaves like that, which doesn't mean you get to impose that on other people without their consent. So
that is such a key difference.
That's the summary. Mickey?
Yeah.
Do you want to just tell me like your like basic, like what are your thoughts and feelings that come up with all this stuff, since you've been also following this pretty closely?
The thing that's difficult for me is that I feel like this is a complex situation because this is like an interesting intersection between somebody occupying a couple of marginalized identities while also at the same time possessing this place of power and privilege that like in a lot of ways allegedly granted her the opportunity to abuse that position of power to then victimize other people, right?
Yeah.
But the thing that like sucks, like first of all, I am like a fan, or was a fan, I guess, of Lizzo as a fat person. It's nice seeing fat celebrities be unapologetically fat in like, you know, public, and like very much just the vibe of like fat people just doing things, you know? Like,
right.
It's just like allowed to exist as this fat person and love yourself and be sexually liberated and all of this stuff.
Yes.
But also at the same time, like I feel like we've talked about this on the podcast before. I just generally am not a person who has any like undying allegiances to celebrities or like large public figures, because like, first of all, we don't know them. But second of all, like I'm just of the mind that it's impossible to not be disappointed by a celebrity or public figure in some regard. Because
that's
like
so true.
People are flawed. And it like, I feel like in a way it's kind of the billionaire thing too. I think we talked about this on the last episode, that like you don't get to be a billionaire without exploiting people, right? Like that doesn't exist. That's not a thing. And so I just have some questions about celebrities and like I guess larger influencers to a lesser extent, but like especially larger celebrities who are like, you know, making millions and millions of dollars every year, that like I just find it hard to believe that there's not like I feel like pretty strongly that most celebrities, if not all celebrities, have either directly on purpose or on accident
done
used,
this
exploited,
kind of thing.
Yeah, and maybe not to this degree. And to be clear, I'm not apologizing the things that she's doing. I'm not like trying to normalize that. It's like everybody's doing it because like that's fucked up. But I just like, I guess what I'm saying is that like I am disappointed because I did like Lizzo, but also the cynical part of me is like not particularly surprised, you know? And so I just like I have a lot less
just almost even sadder
feelings. I know. Yeah. I have less of a hard time sort of disavowing one celebrity in particular because like to me they're all kind of bad people in a way. I don't know. I guess that's like kind of a hot take, but like I just have a hard time believing that none of them are, you know, flawed in some way.
Like they all have these lawsuits. They just haven't happened yet.
Yes.
Like,
how many celebrities have settled out of court and we don't know about it, you know?
Yeah.
But also at the same time, I am really, really sad because the reality is that the blowback of this is going to affect primarily Black women, but especially fat Black women and like fat people generally and like people of marginalized identities. I've seen a lot of discourse. Like if you just Google Lizzo right now, all of the articles are talking about this like weight positive icon is actually a liar. And so there's all of this coverage about like, see, we told you fat people could never love themselves. And like this woman, like, of course she hates herself because all people who look like her do. And just like, I've seen comments from people saying like, she's just as ugly on the inside as she is on the outside. And just like,
oh
God, yeah. Well, and the thing that sucks is that like,
the hell
Lizzo
does that have
never,
to do with anything?
Exactly. But like Lizzo will never hear you, but all the people in your life will. All the people that you share space with will hear you talk shit about Black women and about fat people and about people who look like her, you know? And so it just sucks because I'm like, this is not the attention that anybody in these marginalized communities needed, you know? And like, I feel like we should hold her accountable for being hypocritical and like, you know, an abuser of power, allegedly, without like leveling personal attacks about her appearance and stuff, because it doesn't hurt the people that you think it's hurting, you know? So
that was my biggest fear coming out of this, is that and granted, take all my opinions about this, not you, but well, you too, but like the whole audience, because I'm very much not in any of the groups, these marginalized groups that Lizzo is a part of. So just speaking as somebody who tries their best to be an ally, is like, I'm just really scared that this is, like you said, that this is going to warrant or justify fat phobia, racism, and things like that. And I think the thing that's frustrating for me is that's very much the vibe. Okay, and I'm not comparing Lizzo to this, but this is just like a metaphor to think of, like during mass tragedies that involve weapons, people, if one trans person is the perp, or one Asian man, like, or one Muslim, then that is transferred to that whole group of people. And then those same people ignore the fact that over 90% of murders are done by men. Most of those are white men. So it's just frustrating that I feel like then this is going to happen, and it's like, let's just ignore the countless white skinny people that have been accused of these same things, and then like,
and also
use
men
that
who are accused of these things, you know?
Right, like their whiteness is not used as a reason for their actions,
or their thinness,
but Lizzo's fatness,
maleness,
or Lizzo's blackness is like gonna be brought into it, which it
sucks.
It's really hard, and I think we have to remember there's separate issues though. Like we're not apologizing for Lizzo.
No,
we're like, I just want people to know those are separate things. Like, but also. So
it just sucks that we can't hold someone like a public figure accountable without bad faith bigots trying to capitalize on the minutia of this situation to push their bigoted agenda, you know?
Yes.
Like, it just is frustrating that she is going to get held up as this like example of like, see, this is why this is bad. And like, actually, that's not true. Like, in my opinion, this has a lot more to do with how money and power and fame corrupt people.
Yes.
And like
That's
enable people to do shitty things, you know?
That's what I think happened with Ellen DeGeneres. Honestly, I don't think that inherently she like grew up as a bad person or anything. I'm not saying she's a bad person. I don't know Ellen DeGeneres at all.
Yeah, whatever.
But I think she got so much money and power.
Yes.
And I think this is what happens when you're surrounded by yes men. I think this is what happens when all you do is surround yourself with people who want to be. And Ellen DeGeneres had this show that so many, like, oh my God, we're going on Ellen, right? Like somebody went viral and they're like, we're going on Ellen. They're going to do absolutely anything to please her and not say anything bad about it. You know what I mean? Like, I think I think it comes with abuse of Harvey Weinstein. I know. He was a, that one I have. He is a shitty person. I don't care. I'm saying it. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, he's the devil. But like, again, he got away with all that stuff because of all that money and power and the power that he had to tell women and saying like, well, this is just what happens in show business. And I think the same thing for Lizzo. I don't think it has anything to do with any of her identities. I don't think she was lying when she was advocating for body positivity. I don't think she's lying when she's trying to just exist as somebody in a bigger body. Like, I don't think she was lying about any of those things. I think that when you're surrounded by people that want to please you and put you on this pedestal, along with millions of dollars. Yeah. Have you ever heard of the Stanford prison experiment in psychology? You've probably heard of it in like your psych classes.
This sounds vaguely familiar, but I don't remember the details of this.
Sorry, I keep kind of going off the rails, but it's like all this stuff reminds me so much of this same thing. So they showed, the Stanford prison experiment, essentially they put two groups of equal boys, like there was nothing separating them from each other. They put them in two groups and they assigned one group to be the prisoners and one group to be the guards. Yeah. They were just randomly assigned. There was no other consensus, that's not the word I was looking for, but there was no other and they found through that experiment that the people that were guards, just because they were given the label of having power over another group, they started to act more and more cruel towards the prisoners and started treating the prisoners less like people. Again, that's an extreme example, not saying that all celebrities are like that in particular, but it's very interesting that we think that we would be above that if we were given that much money and power.
That's fair.
But that's not necessarily true. I think anybody is capable of...
Yes, very much so.
Doing
For what it's worth, there is like some discourse about the Stanford prison experiment, just because the example is like it's like very much the thing that psychology does, where we take white men and conduct experiments on them and then we apply it to everybody, and like everybody, you know, like that's not true. I think especially white men in particular seem to have historically a problem with appreciating the gravity that comes along with having a position of power. Yes, however, I don't disagree with what you're saying though, because I think like it's just like very much the sort of cliche that like absolute power corrupts absolutely, you know, like I think also to an extent there's an interesting conversation to be had about how experiencing marginalization and then this like very whiplash experience into, you know, having this position of power and not having the opportunity or the time, or like choosing, I guess, to some degree to not process the trauma that came along with that could cause somebody to act out those abuses that they experienced onto other people. It's like very much the thing, you and I have talked about this before, it's like very much the difference between being empowered versus wanting to exert power over others, you know? And not that this is a thing that happens to marginalized people specifically, because it's not, but it like it is a thing that happens to human beings generally, that like especially when we haven't had support or resources around processing that stuff, we can, I don't know that Lizzo was doing it inadvertently, to be fair, but like for general people. We can inadvertently act out that desire to like take power from other people to soothe that like trauma wound, you know? And so I don't disagree with what you're saying, that like I think people generally are vulnerable to like becoming bad people when we have like unfettered access to power and money and like all of these people who just like, you know, blow smoke up your ass all of the time. It's just, yeah, it's like a sad, scary thing, I think, about like this situation specifically, but just like about people generally. It's like, I think the reason I'm struggling with it is because it makes me feel very like doom and gloom about the state of affairs of people generally, you know?
I was just thinking that same thing. Like all those young girls, teenagers especially, that look up to Lizzo.
Yeah.
They must be so devastated.
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
To just
it is
feel
devastating.
Like finally somebody that represents me, who's, you know, won awards and is genuinely so talented and advocates for me and all this stuff, and now everybody's gonna use it as a reason why I'm still invalid. Like, yeah, you know,
it just sucks. And especially because,
which is kind of on Lizzo though, because that kind of sucks that she took that that like she kind of ruined that for a lot of people, that like,
but also
you
too,
know?
like, again, I'm not defending Lizzo because you know, the things that she's allegedly done.
You believe the victims.
Yeah, like that's horrible.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, it does suck that like icons and role models for Black women, but especially like fat Black women, are so few and far between, that the one time we have one and they come out to be a bad person, that like there is this like, okay, great, like we're back to fucking like you know, step zero basically, because there are no other people, you know, like it is so difficult for people of color and fat people and like women generally, honestly, who don't fit the like societal ideal to be famous, that like Lizzo was it. That's like all we had basically. And like, you know, like her being a bad person basically means that there's like nobody else to fill that void for now anyways. That's sad.
Well, and it's so interesting that the consequences of her acting this way, the consequences on marginalized groups is so much greater than, say, if Blake Lively was came out and was accused of all these same things. Like, we would all be really mad at her, but she's not held to the same standards.
Yes, exactly.
In this, like, I think that's
she's
what not held to those. Okay, she's not like there's not groups of marginalized people looking up to Blake Lively and being like please don't mess up, you know? And it's like almost unfair. I don't know. It's really hard to not sell. I'm trying really hard not to sound like I'm defending Lizzo, because I'm not. And I really do. I completely condemn.
Yes. I was like, we don't condone that, Hannah.
Not condone. No, condemn her actions.
Yeah.
But it is a little unfair that the blowout from this is so much greater than if, again, Blake Lively did the exact same thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And I feel like it's also kind of the thing
or Taylor
too, that
Swift.
like, I know. Yeah. That because it's not as difficult for white thin women to be famous and to be pop stars and to be like adored by the masses, that if one of them fucks up or turns out to be a bad person, then it's just kind of like on to the next, you know, like we'll all just worship somebody else. And so it just kind of comes with the territory that like, nah, they're just a person, right? Like it's fine. But it is kind of like this pressure, I think, like because Lizzo was occupying this very unique place in public discourse and like the celebrity world, because it is much more difficult for Black women and fat people and like, you know, people with marginalized identities to be approved of by the public, that it was almost like you have to be perfect, and if you're not perfect then like you are going to get flamed, you know. And like again, what she did allegedly is horribly inappropriate and not okay, and like that should be condemned like on its own. But it does suck to feel like people sort of hold Black women up to this standard of like, you have to be perfect, and if you're not, like we're going to tear your world down. And like, you know, there are people like fucking Colleen Ballinger who are doing the most egregious bullshit and like still has millions of followers. I guess to be fair, it's not like Lizzo's career is going to go away after this.
Probably not,
but it does suck to see people care less about shitty actions from white and thin and like, you know, non-marginalized people. And then stuff like this happens to a Black woman and it's like, we're all going to throw the book at her, you know? Like, again, what she did is not okay. And like,
I think
I'm not a fucking Lizzo fan anymore, but it does.
The difference
I guess that's the thing that's hard is it's like yes and like you can't tease these things out from each other because like her identity and like her marginalization doesn't exist in a vacuum. You know what I'm saying? It's a confusing
I think the
thing
difference
to talk about.
for us is that like we believe the victims that are accusing her and like the impact that she has on all of her victims is like egregious and not you know and like terrible and like very, very not the best version of herself, we should say. It's the reaction of the public because this is such a public thing. I think is the troubling part about this, that it's going to be taken into that fat phobic racist place no matter what. Like even though most of us are trying to stay away from that because the way she looks, I mean, has nothing to do with this, like, with her taking advantage of her power. So for me, it's like two different issues here of like the situation itself. Like, yes, believe the victims. This none of what she did was okay, but like also the public backlash, the way that it's handled is a whole separate thing.
I feel like
I don't think we're apologizing. Being an apologist, I think we're saying like, hey, this isn't an excuse to be a bigot.
No, exactly. I think the people's reaction, like the public's reaction, is just very telling about our cultural state of affairs, you know? The way that we treat people who look like Lizzo and just don't happen to be as famous or powerful as Lizzo. It like becomes a moment, I think, where people say the quiet part out loud and like give themselves permission to say these really bigoted and fucked up things because like, oh, okay, she's a bad person, so I can say all of these things that are actually really fucking terrible. And like, no, bitch, no, you can't. Like, can we please honor in the same breath that while Lizzo is a bad person, also that people who look like Lizzo are perfectly good and normal people and deserve to take up space. You know, just like shut the fuck up. It's just hard.
Like her actions have absolutely nothing to do with her being or her body or her race. Like it has nothing to do with that. Like I think it's an abuse of power, not and money, not
that's
Anyway,
I'm glad we talked about it first because I don't know how to feel. I feel like the way that I think it also goes without saying too that like as to white women, this is a thing that's difficult for us to like get it right, I guess, in terms of the way that we're talking about it. Because like you were saying earlier, like, you know, sure, like, yes, I am a fat person, but like I have no concept of what it's like to be marginalized in the way that Lizzo probably was and like Black people are generally. So it's just a difficult thing for us to talk about because we don't have like lived experience in that category. You know,
we could comment on like the actions themselves, but like there's a lot of nuance to this that we have no clue about. So
there's definitely aspects of this conversation that are just like, you know, maybe a thing that we should
that we can't
leave
speak
better
on.
Said.
And that a lot of people shouldn't speak on. So my heart goes out to the victims though that are coming forward with something like this. It's very difficult, I would imagine.
And they're also getting eaten alive in the press, which sucks.
Which is very just the fact that they were still willing to try to stand up for themselves, I think was
admirable.
Is honorable, and I hope that again, assuming if these accusations are true, hope they get justice.
I hope so too
for it. So okay,
we will see.
Do you want to move on?
Yes, let's talk about something slightly lighter.
Let's talk about. So I have no idea what Mickey's going to talk about.
Oh boy, Hannah. Okay, so allow me to take you on a journey. First and foremost, I'm going to send you a TikTok. If you want to put it in the final video, you can. I'm just going to send it to you. It's literally just a video because the actual original TikTok has been taken down at this point.
Oh no.
I just sent you the video, so let me know when you get it. It's 2 minutes. You don't have to watch the whole thing. Just watch the part that this person is stitching. Actually, hold on. Don't watch it yet. Let me explain some stuff first.
I haven't gotten it yet.
Okay, great. Okay. So while that's sending, so let me introduce you to some characters here, are like main players in this situation. So the thing that we're talking about today is some very niche internet drama from a corner of TikTok.
Oh, wait, I just got it. Okay.
Okay, good. This is from a corner of TikTok that I am a part of, or like a consumer of anyways.
Okay.
That I never anticipated that this would be drama, but it has blown up to such epic proportions. This is fascinating to me. So the first player in this situation is a creator whose name is Karen Joy. Karen used to be an RN. She recently left her job as a nurse to pursue being an influencer full-time, and her content niche is home decor. A lot of what she does is like maximalism. It's very colorful. Some people have called it like serotonin decor, where it's like very much like things that look like other things, like a stool that looks like a lime or a lamp that looks like a gummy bear. And like she has this big crayon, like this larger than life crayon.
Surrealist kind of stuff.
Yeah, she has this big giant crayon on her wall, and then like a stick or a squiggle of peel and stick wallpaper that looks like the crayon was drawing on the wall. Just like very fun, very colorful, very loud. Yes. Yeah. I found Karen Joy a while ago, and I have been like an avid consumer of her content. First of all, because I just love her sense of style, and because she talks a lot about how like, I don't really care if this is like stylish or like it makes me happy, right? And so like that's why I'm putting this stuff in my room. I don't care if you guys think it's ugly. It's just because it brings a smile to my face, and I want my house to make me happy, right? So I love that, and have like, you know, loved watching all of her DIYs, and she like repaints stuff and puts stuff up and whatever. Do you have a question?
No, I was just thinking there's another creator that I watch like that I think I sent you a while ago, because I was like, oh my God, you would love this interior designer. And I'm trying to compute in my head if it's the same person or not.
It might be one of the other people in this situation.
When can I watch the video?
After I tell you about this next person.
Oh, okay. Now you put a video in front of me, and I'm like,
I know, I'm sorry.
Trigger fingers. I'm very excited.
So our second player in this situation,
so you have Karen Joy.
Yes, we have Karen Joy, who is like the, you know, dopamine decor lady, very maximalist, very fun, very DIY. She's also just a joy, to be clear. She's like the nicest, kindest, sweetest person, at least as far as we can tell from videos and stuff. She's like very sweet. The other person in this equation, the other person in this equation, their name is Tay Beep Boop. It's their Instagram handle. People have just been referring to her as Tay to make it easier. Tay Beep Boop is also a creator and influencer in the home decor niche, is also a maximalist, is also very colorful, very loud, does a lot of DIY stuff, and has made a career off of platforming like, we should bring color back into the world, like we should decorate our houses in a way that make us happy, right? Of note is that Tay recently had a collaboration with a wallpaper company where Tay submitted a bunch of designs. They like worked on it together, whatever. But there was like a wallpaper collection that came out where there was a bunch of cool designs, and like, you know, again, the thing's like very loud, very colorful, vinyl decals, like the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
When this situation all started, Karen Joy had 1.8 million followers, and Tay Beep Boop had 1.9 million followers.
Okay.
What happened?
Similar follower counts.
Yes. So what happened is that Tay Beep Boop made a TikTok directly addressing Karen Joy. Tay Beep Boop blocked Karen Joy, then made this TikTok about her, talking about some DMs and stuff that she's received. So that's the TikTok that I sent you. So watch that. We can put it up on the screen for people.
So Tay got DMs from Karen.
Tay got DMs from her own followers and just like random people on the internet, and then made a video about it.
And then blocked her and then made a video. Okay.
Yes. Also, I just realized I sent you the wrong TikTok. I'm so sorry. Here, hold on. Let me send you this one because I want you to watch the original video first. Okay. Can you see this?
Yes.
Okay. Do you want to read to the DM, or can you read it?
I reached out to this creator 2 months ago asking her not to copy me, and these videos from her page are all just from the last 2 months. This has been happening for years. Hey, just an FYI, Karen Joy has completely stolen your ideas. Please passes them off as her own and executes them terribly. You're the queen, but wow, she's getting a following, just redoing everything you do.
Okay, so watch this video. It's terrible. You're not going to watch the whole TikTok. It's like 5 minutes long because it's someone who stitches this video, but I want you to watch Tay Beep Boop's original video that she made about Karen, okay?
I'm about to be so petty, and I've never done something like this before, but there is a large creator who is just getting out of hand. So this is my mossy mirror that I made, and immediately she makes this, which is like, fine, that's what the coincidence, whatever. I have this green squiggle art gallery, and now she does too. The difference is she's hanging something else, so that's different, that's creative. But she's also ripping off my boyfriend's art. So that's my boyfriend's art. I have a monster head art gallery. He makes monster heads. They're so realistic and beautiful. This is her version. This is her monster head art gallery. Then I painted my room green and blue. They're very abnormal color choices, and I got a lot of hate for it, but I really love it, and I spent months choosing the colors. Look at what colors she's doing for her kitchen, and she's painting her appliances. So that's just like another weird coincidence. And she hung up this cake wallpaper. That just happens to be my actual wallpaper line that I have. Look at this photo. Orange couch, wallpaper, monster head art gallery. That orange couch is literally the knockoff of my orange couch. And that's my wallpaper, which is fine. Anyone can buy it. I also created a gradient room where my whole room is gradients. And then she decided to make an ombre room. Strange coincidence.
I have definitely one of those. I don't know which one it is, but definitely one of those is the ones that I feel like I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, I feel like you sent me a Tay Beep Boop video.
It must have been Tay Beep Boop. That sounds more familiar. Regardless of all the drama, those rooms slap. That's so cool. I love making your whole house look like a fun house for kids. Seems so appealing.
Yes.
So cool. A monster wall? I want a monster head wall.
So Tay made that video and it did not go well. It did not go the way that she planned, I don't think, because people were absolutely dragging her to the pits of hell and back in her comment section. What are your initial impressions, first of all? Because I'm very curious your take on this.
So I've never heard of this drama before in particular, but I have a lot of thoughts on the whole creators copying other creators thing because, and I've watched, so Jamie French have you heard of her? She's great. She has a lot of thoughts on this topic. She's made a whole video about it because she's been dragged for like, remember the tiny face trend?
Yes.
Where you cover part of your face and do makeup to make it look like you have a tiny face.
Yeah.
So like Jamie got dragged for doing that. Because
it was a trend.
Because she said in the video she was inspired by other creators, but like the creator like that thinks that they created it would get so mad at her for copying them when she literally didn't. Like she's just a trend that she was doing. And I do think it gets taken too far all the time because I feel like, so I do that too. Like I get inspiration from other people in my niche.
Yes.
Like
of course,
I've been
as one does.
Loey Lane and I have been like not messaging but commenting on each other's videos recently or whatever, and we consistently do videos about the same topics, and we're aware of each other. And I, not gonna lie, I mean, like I got inspiration for my TikTok series directly from her, but I just do it from a skeptic's point of view and she does it from a believer's point of view.
Which is great.
Am I copying her? I'm getting tagged in all the same like videos as her. But I pick my own videos. I have my own commentary. But like other videos that she's done, like I'm like, oh, I want to talk about that too. If she did that, I would have absolutely no issue with it. And I just think it's really interesting that we get real uptight on social media like that. Like the person in the video you sent me. They said we all get social media is all getting inspired by each other. TikTok is created off of using other people's sounds to make your own video and stuff.
Thank you, Hannah.
So I have mixed feelings about my initial reaction is I understand from a human point of view why that would be very frustrating to feel like every time you came out with something, this other creator in the same niche comes out with the exact same thing or like something very similar. But on the other hand, it's just kind of like...
Yes, exactly. What's it matter?
What do you want her to do? Like,
so
I don't
there are ancillary details here that are also important for you to know.
Okay.
First of all, the timeline for all of these projects, you know how she did the direct comparison of like, this is my mossy mirror, this is her mossy mirror, this is my squiggle, that's her squiggle.
Right.
The timing of those videos going up on their respective.
Such a weird sentence.
I know. The timing
of
those.
Squiggle, this is her squiggle.
The timing of those videos going up on their respective TikTok accounts is so close that either one of them trying to copy the other person would have been almost impossible.
Okay.
Because we're talking about DIY stuff here that takes like hours and hours, you know, like painting a wall, putting together a moss mirror, like that takes a lot of time.
That's days of work.
And so the idea that like Karin could have seen Tay putting this video up and then directly copied her is a stretch, just from a time perspective. But also, like, for example, the mossy mirror that Karin Joy made, this was a series that she had on her TikTok because her original goal was to make, have you seen people make like wavy mirrors where they put expanding foam and then they cover it in like joint compound and like sand it and smooth it so it's like this bubbly sort of surface around the outside?
No, but that sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's a trend. It's a thing. Lots of people on Pinterest do it. Her original intent was to make a mirror like that, but she had a lot of issues with the mirror cracking and the joint compound falling off, and it was like a very frustrating thing. She said at more than one point, I'm highly considering just throwing this thing in the trash and starting again because it was all cracked and she couldn't paint over it and create a smooth surface. So the way that she worked around it was just by putting some leftover moss from another project that she had on the mirror to cover the cracks, essentially, and just say, like, fuck it. My bedroom is, like, neutral themed, and so this will fit. We'll just do, like, a little nature-inspired moment for the mirror to try to cover these cracks and salvage this project, right? And so, again, like, creating the mossy mirror wasn't even her initial intent, but also the timing of this is suspicious for Tay to say, like, she copied me, when actually she had been working on this project for at least days and days before the final video went up. On top of that, actually, what are your opinions about the wallpaper comment that she made?
That's my wallpaper that she bought from... But I mean, she did say, well, that's fine. Anybody can buy that wallpaper. Yeah. But if it is fine, why did you include it in the video?
Thank you.
It's obviously not fine, or you wouldn't be talking about it.
It's such a weird take to say, like, this person's copying me because they bought this wallpaper that I made specifically for other people to buy.
Gave me money.
Hello? Like, why? That's a weird hill to die on, in my opinion. Yeah. Like, I'm mad at you for buying the product that I have specifically created to be for sale for DIY use.
I think I listen. My take on this whole thing, back when I was first starting my YouTube channel, as many of you know, I watched hours of YouTube gurus every single day talking about how to build a YouTube channel and best practices. And one thing that really, when you're small, you cannot help but be jealous of anybody who has 10 more subscribers than you. You're jealous because when you have less than 100 subscribers, somebody who has 300 subscribers seems giant, right?
It's rough out there, man.
And I really struggled with this feeling of jealousy or comparing myself, like, oh my god, this channel only has 3 videos and they already have 600 subscribers. I have like 50 videos and mine only has this many, and I really struggle with that. And something that really, really, really helped me in those early days was it's a YouTube guru help channel called Roberto Blake, and he said simply, there is room on YouTube for everyone. Yes. And no truer words have ever been said. And that, because I looked at him and his niche with the other YouTube gurus, do they like compete with each other? No. They promote each other's videos. They collab. They do live streams together. Yeah. They tell people to go super chat their friends. Yes. Because there is room, because you can watch more than one YouTube channel. You can subscribe to lots of YouTube channels. Many people watch Loey Lade's TikTok videos and my TikTok videos.
Following
because they
somebody
want to
is
hear
free.
Different takes. Exactly. And that resonated so much because it's when you're playing the comparison game, it's, you know, that it's toxic, you know, it's illogical, but it's a natural human thing to do, and realizing that there is room for everybody who is willing to put in the work of making a YouTube channel. But if you really, really want to do it, there is room for multiple people in the same niche. Like everybody can make good money off of it. It's not like just because somebody else comes into your niche, that means that
there's less for you.
That there's less for you. And I think that's really important to note here. She's acting as if she could be the only interior, like crazy interior design, surrealist artist on TikTok, which is simply not the case. Like,
correct.
A healthy mindset would be like, whoa, look at this creator's amazing moss mirror. Like, oh my gosh, I love the way she did it. Like, compared to mine. Like, go follow her. Reaching out to that creator, say, hey, you want to do a collab project? Like, maybe one of us can fly out to the other and we can do a project together, and you build each other up. And it's just, it gives real very insecurity for her to be so concerned.
It's giving like capitalist scarcity mindset, but it's also like, you know, not a girl's girl kind of energy, you know?
Yes. That's the other thing I kind of thought of, is a little bit like, like there's not room for others in this space.
Yes.
Like, as if she invented.
Yes.
Like, you never got inspiration from other artists
also
that did surreal art.
All fucking art at this point, all art is derivative. Like, don't get me wrong. Derivative. I'm not saying that we should be writing people off blatantly, ripping off, especially like a big creator ripping off, like a small creator and all of that. Like, that's fucked up, right? And all art is fucking derivative, like especially in the realm of like home decor and interior design trends. Like, we all have the internet. We've all been either directly or subconsciously inspired by things that are popular, by people who are getting attention for doing certain things. You know, like, I've openly talked about how my set was like very heavily inspired by Karen Joy, because I, like, in watching her content, was so inspired to say, like, I am done with trying to hide this part of me that wants my space to be loud and obnoxious and ridiculous and like maybe a little bit gaudy, you know? Like, it doesn't go together and it doesn't give sophisticated, but it makes me really happy, you know? And like, there's literally nothing wrong with that. Like, I have a hard time believing that Karen Joy would be like, side eye at you for inspiring your home decor based on like what I've done, you know?
Right. It seems like stirring up drama
just because,
for no reason. I think it sucks too when this has happened a lot with creators where their followers start messaging them about something like this, and then and they overreact very quickly. I mean, it happened to Illuminati. Like, that's how
I literally thought the same thing,
saga
Hannah.
started. Was her followers saying like, Legal Eagle's plagiarizing you. Look, he's just blatantly plagiarizing you.
Yeah.
And then she was like, oh! And then
you stuck your nose where it fucking didn't belong, and look what happened.
Exactly. And it was like the start of her downfall. And it's just like, maybe be real careful about like stirring up things that maybe you could either handle privately. Like, did you try reaching out to Karen Joy and asking her?
That's
like,
that's the other thing actually, is they have had DMs. Supposedly Tay Beep Boop reached out to Karen basically saying like, please stop copying me. And Karen said that these interactions were, from Karen's point of view, very pleasant. She said Tay Beep Boop was really pleasant and kind to me. I had no idea that she didn't like me or that she felt like I was ripping her off. And so she was like, I thought that we had kind of handled this in the DMs. And like, Karen basically had said like, yes, I am heavily inspired by you. You're one of the first creators that I saw on this platform. And like, I don't want to be directly copying you. And so now that I feel more secure in myself, I'm starting to kind of like branch away from that. Right. But Tay, I guess, was not satisfied with that response. And Karen made her own video
talking about... What did she want her to do? Delete all of her videos or something?
Karen made her own video where she was like near tears, talking about how blindsided she was, because she was like, I thought that this creator and I were like, you know, friendly. Like, I had no idea that she felt this way about me. And she was like, I'm just really disappointed that it was handled this way, because like, I don't feel like it needed to be like this. It was really, really sad. It was really awful, because she is this like little ray of sunshine, and this girl just like, or this woman rather, just came after her For what? I agree with you though, because that was the thing that stuck out to me too. I think you and I have talked about this privately, but I remember getting advice from a creator who was larger than me when I was like in the, my channel was smaller. And it is a very human thing, right? Like you and I have talked about this on the podcast before, that like when your channel blew up while mine was stagnating, obviously I was like excited for you and over the moon to see your success like manifest. But also there's this jealousy of like, fuck, like what am I doing wrong? Like I want that, it's like an envy thing.
And I've had that same thing about your channel too, when it was the opposite.
Yeah. And so like that is very human, right? But the thing that this creator said, they like reminded me anyways, of that sentiment that rising tides raise all ships, right? There is good to be had for everybody in a particular niche or a particular platform, for more attention to be drawn to the subject that you make videos about or the platform that you make content on. And it is useless and also not a good look to try to tear people down just because you don't want them in your content niche or because you feel threatened by their success, not only is it like sad and embarrassing and like mean, but it also doesn't serve our community, like influencers and people in the home decor niche or like the true crime niche or the therapy niche, short of like calling out actually problematic behavior. Like we should be supportive of each other and celebrate each other's successes for bringing success to the niche that we have and the platform that we share,
Right. I think a good rule of thumb is if you're upset about something, if it's like giving you some sort of feelings, whatever those feelings are, like Tay's feelings about it are valid too,
Yeah.
But like if it's giving you the feels and something stirring up inside of you where you're feeling the need to pick up your phone and block somebody or post about it or DM someone, like maybe just take a second to think, does this give off mean girl energy? And if the answer is yes,
don't do it.
Then don't do it and wait. Rant to your friend about it.
Yes.
Say that in private to somebody, how frustrated you are.
That's what I'm saying.
And then take it from somebody else's point of view and maybe just think about it a little bit before posting it on social media to your almost 2 million followers. The other thing that kills me about this is that they both have the same amount of followers. What is she upset about?
Not anymore.
Not anymore, But like, that's so. And the other thing about that too is like a lot of people like maybe would just see that as flattering, that like, okay, if she was copying me. And that's the other thing I learned from YouTube gurus too, is that you could make the exact same, I could make the exact same video as Mr. Beast. It doesn't mean it's going to do as well as Mr. Beast's video just because I copied him exactly. People want the original person. So even if she was copying you, most people, if you didn't come out and be petty about it, most people are going to like stay with the original creator of that anyway. So you're really just hurting yourself.
I feel like that was the other thing that came up for me, is that like a lot of the learning that I've done in my own self-esteem is reminding myself that other people's opinion of me is none of my good goddamn business. Like it doesn't serve me to be fixated on like, is this person ripping me off and getting success off of me? Like, who cares? If she wants to rip you off, let her rip you off. Because first of all, the audience who likes you is going to like you for who you are and not necessarily for the content that you're creating. And they want to continue to like you. They want to like you. And so when you do things that are unlikable, it makes it hard for people to support you. So don't put your audience in the position where they have to choose between supporting somebody who's platforming mean girl behavior or not liking you anymore. Just not rant to your friends privately about it. It's not that you're not allowed to have feelings, but like the way that you deal with them, I think tells people a lot about your morals, your ethics, and like it's just
that was not a good look.
No, because you're right. Like Karan Joy does make very similar content to Tay Beep Boop, but the people who like Karan for Karan. They like Karan because she's like slightly different, and like people who like Tay Beep Boop like Tay Beep Boop, and the people who like both of them like both of them. You don't have to put people in this position to say like it's me or get out. Like that's so scarcity minded and like doesn't serve anybody's purpose.
Yeah, you really have to learn that if you're going to be an influencer. I mean,
which
like,
is hard to be fair, but still.
It is, but like there's hundreds of comedic influencers. Like the new thing now is like making video forms of memes, basically.
Yes.
Or of people acting out all the different characters,
like skits,
even though they're the character.
Yeah.
Have you seen the guy? Oh my God, there's a guy that I see him on Instagram, but he's on TikTok too. I have cried laughing at this guy because he never shows his kids on camera ever, but his skits are him acting out things his toddler did.
Yes. Yeah, I feel like I've seen this.
Like his toddler just coming up to the table to try to eat a snack, and it's like
yes, and he gets like food all over his face, and like just toddlers being so unreasonable.
Funny.
Yes.
He's so funny. And there's so many other creators doing similar stuff to that, and he's not mad at any of them. No. Other comedians are not mad at other comedians for doing similar. Like, there's dozens of people that have done, like, If I Were a Dog, or like what the different dog. Like, nobody's like, sorry, it's not all copying. It's just like that person said in that other video. It's building off of each other. Like, that's what social media is. I think that other person you sent me the video of was in defense of Tay, from my understanding. Wasn't she defending Tay? Because she was like, so. Oh, she wasn't? Because she was like, Karen. She's not the first person that... Oh, I thought she was saying, like, Karen, this is not the first person that Karen has copied or whatever. But I think she was. I think you're right, yeah.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, it's just like, this could apply to any niche on social media. And social media is becoming a more prevalent job. Yeah. So it's kind of like you need to learn these lessons before like this happens, because like you could not become an influencer being concerned about, because that is exactly also what happened to Illuminati / Blair. She got in her own head about how she is the best channel for this kind of content. She's the only one that you should watch in this niche, you know, and would get mad at anybody else doing any. Winnie, stepping on my headphones.
She said, speaking of the only person who should get attention.
And you cannot become a successful influencer. I should say, just being concerned about everybody else making similar. Like, again, do you think Mr. Beast is worried about all the Mr. Beast copycats?
Probably not. No,
he's not. If they do it, he gives his advice on what he's done, because he knows not everybody is going to put in the work and can recreate what he does. And so it's just like, so you're putting so much energy into something.
Yeah. That's the other thing,
a waste of energy.
Because even if it doesn't bite you in the ass like it did for Tay Beep Boop or Illuminati, the reality is that it is going to steal your peace, you know?
Yes.
And like, that's the thing that is so sad to me about it, is that like, you know, again, in my own self-esteem work and like having to sort of work through that like envy and jealousy and whatever. I've had to remind myself that like, being this person who is like fixated or like upset or, you know, like bothered by what other people are doing on the internet or other people's successes or whatever, all it's doing is taking your energy and your time and attention away from the thing that's actually fulfilling to you, that actually is the thing that you came here to do, you know? And so like being this person who allows your energy to be co-opted by like privately hating on someone else, not only is it not a good look and it like really doesn't bode well for your online reputation, but it's like actively harmful to you, you know? Like it's all it's going to do is bring you pain and discomfort and anger, and you're much better served like processing that privately with your friends or your therapist or whatever, and then trying to recenter on like your sort of North Star, like, why am I doing this? What am I here for? What are the things that are actually fulfilling to me, you know?
Like, imagine if Tay took all that time she spent worrying about this and making that video, brainstorming her next project. She could have spent all that time making a viral video that got her twice as many followers. And she would never know because she spent it worrying about this.
Also of note is that she has recently apologized. Firstly, she took down the original video and then put up a statement. It wasn't an apology. It was just like a text-based statement that was like, you know, I don't want this to be what my content is about, so I took that video down. I just wish that the situation could have been handled differently because I'm really passionate about creators getting credit for their ideas. Like, okay, so that didn't get received well. And then her wallpaper line with that company, Auto something, the company that she partnered with to produce this wallpaper, dropped her collection. And 6 hours later, we got an apology video from Tay saying, initially, I didn't see that I had done anything wrong. I didn't think that there was anything wrong with what I had said. And it took a couple of days for me to come around. Yeah.
Sure.
But now I feel really bad and I'm really sorry. And I've privately apologized to Karen and I want to give her a public apology also.
Did she unblock her too?
Probably. But still,
hopefully.
A lot of people are not receiving that well either because the timing of it is not great. So.
Okay. I do feel some sort of way about brands dropping her for that. Like, I don't feel like I don't feel like what she did was like egregious. Like, I think it was just misplaced jealousy kind of,
hear what you're saying, but also for what it's worth from a brand perspective, if the influencer that we partnered with to create this product that allows people who view Tay in this aspirational light, right? Like the content is successful because people want to be like her. People want to replicate her results in her own home because she's also a DIY creator. Like she lists the projects, the instructions, the links to buy the products that she used in her videos.
Wait, so she wants random people to copy exactly what she's doing, but not another creator?
Who's getting famous off of it, yeah. So like from a brand perspective, this creator who claims to have a platform about wanting their audience to recreate these results, getting on TikTok and shaming someone for doing exactly what she claims to want her audience to do is not a good look. Like I would not want to be partnered with an influencer who's discouraging people and shaming people for buying the product that is supposed to be to replicate this aspirational result that she has, you know?
Right.
So honestly, like, I get it. I don't really disagree with their decision to take it down. Because also, too, like, it platforms this, like, really judgmental and hateful attitude, you know?
True.
Like, it just doesn't...
They might not have dropped her if she had apologized.
Yes,
I
think so too.
Before they dropped her.
Yeah, I think so too.
I mean, clearly she apologized. I have no doubt that she only apologized because they dropped her.
Yeah.
And then she was like, oh, well, now that I'm losing money.
I need to apologize.
If she had, like, come around, like, took the feedback into consideration and was like, I kind of reflected on this. I was really, I was rash in the beginning. And I'm just like, realized that maybe that was a really bad take and that Karen meant no harm to me and that she probably actually wasn't copying me, yada, yada, yada. Yeah. Like,
that was like such an easy moment to spin into like my insecurity got the best of me and like, I heard you guys' feedback and like I recognized that actually this was me just kind of projecting my own insecurities. And
I changed my mind.
Yes, thanks for hanging with me while I was learning some stuff about myself and like, I get it. I respect it. I'm really sorry. Like that would have been such an easy apology and an easy moment for people to view you as like likable and human, And
then and I bet her, and the wallpaper probably would not have.
No, I don't think so either.
Dropped her.
Yeah.
Boy, oh boy.
So there's your niche internet drama.
I love a niche internet drama. I just ordered, I caught Snoop slimes when they restocked and I spent $70 on 3 slimes.
To be fair, I was gonna say that's not hard to do though, because like fancy slime is expensive.
Fancy slime's very expensive, but also shipping because it's a small business, so shipping's like $10.
Yeah.
So I was like, but I really want them. I really want to try these. I'm not gonna start collecting them.
Fair.
I don't think, because it's just like, for me personally, it just feels too wasteful because I feel like I'm just gonna throw them away after I play with them a few times.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, but I'm really excited to. I'm so excited.
You'll have to update us about your slime journey, Hannah. I'm very curious about it. I do really like them. I love watching those videos of people who are like scooping this week's slimes or whatever, like rating how well they scoop or something. They're so satisfying.
Or just mixing the clay into.
I'm really obsessed right now with the slimes that are like sand. They have like sand and like rocks in them. The noise that they make when people play with them is so satisfying.
Yes. Yeah. I got a fluff based one. I got a gel clear based one, jelly one. I'm not gonna, if you're in the slime niche, I'm not gonna describe these correctly, just FYI. And then I got like a birthday cake. I got a funfetti cake one, a candy
Cute.
fluff one, and then I got like the honey one, because the honeycomb one is like honey slime with a clay honeycomb on top.
That's nice. That's fun. You'll have to let me know how the honeycomb one is. I've heard that clear slimes are like the hardest to play with because they're like sticky. There's like a technique to play with them, I guess.
Nothing makes me laugh harder when these slime TikToks talk about how this one's great for beginners.
Yes.
I'm like, I'm sorry,
Hello?
what? Beginners slime?
Yes. Yeah, especially as like kids who like played with oobleck and like mud and stuff. Like slime wasn't a thing that was like developed enough to have its own niche and like techniques and like different characteristics of slime
in second grade.
Yeah, I feel like a boomer because I'm like, why is this like, I don't understand the rules. Somebody help me do this correctly, please. So please let me know how the honey slime is because I'm really curious.
I sure will. I'll probably take pictures of them after I set them up and everything.
Fun. Okay, great.
We'll see how it goes.
All right, cool.
Yeah. So, all right, shall we wrap it up?
I think that's a nice place to wrap it up for today.
That's our show, everybody.
Thanks for being here, friends.
For being here.
Mm-hmm. All right.
And yeah, we'll see you guys all in the next epi.
Yes. If you like the episode, don't forget to subscribe on whatever platform you're listening on, and then leave us reviews if you want to, because it's nice.
We got we have a few reviews on Apple Podcasts, and they're all 5 stars, which I appreciate so much. One person actually left a written review, and it showed up, and so sweet. Thank you so much to that person who left that review. Love you the most. I know.
That's so
it's
exciting.
very hard to get your reviews to show up on right now. We don't even have a star rating because we don't have enough reviews on there.
Yeah.
So
help us get a star rating, guys.
Yeah. If you want to write out a review, that's very helpful. But if you want to if you only have 2 seconds and want to just slap a 5-star if you're enjoying us on there, or 1 star, I don't know, do whatever.
Yeah, if you hate us, you can leave us a 1-star review too. But
if you hate us, that's fine.
If you love us, we'd love your 5-star review.
Yeah, exactly. So
all right,
guys, we will see you next time.
All right, bye.
Goodbye.